Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everlasting Summer. Last time we were here, a lot happened. Let's just say that. I'm actually getting over a cold, so if my voice gets a little weird, that's because of that. Let's go left. It seems that there's another fork in the road. Of course. Of course there is. Let's just keep going left then. I came to some kind of miner's camp. Picks and helmets everywhere. A rusty wagon stood in the corner. All the items were old. They dated from the beginning of the 20th century rather than the middle. So this really is a mine. Well, yeah, it's not that hard to figure out, man. There's like these tracks, and just the way it looks it's a mine. Which means I could wander around for ages without finding a way out. But I sensed that exit was somewhere nearby and went further. It seems there's another fork in the road. Of course there is. God damn it. And another. And another. And another. Okay, one more time, and then I'll go right. Oh. Around one last turn, a door appeared from the darkness. I opened it and went inside a small room. Nobody was here except... Oh my god. Shurik, who sat in the corner. Shurik! He stared at me with eyes full of terror. You shouldn't be here. Don't come near me. Shurik, it's me, it's Semyon. I won't give up so easily. He grabbed a piece of reinforced bar from behind his back and started waving it around. Jesus Christ, man! Shurik, what's wrong with you? Calm down. First you bring me here, then you take me through this mine, and now you're pretending to be Semyon? He must have gone completely nuts. I mean, how long has it been since he's disappeared? Like more than a day? And in the dark? Who did he follow down here? That's the question. It has to be... It's either... Cat Girl that keeps appearing. I'm sure she's a part of all of this, or like somebody he actually trusts, and that's even more messed up. Shurik, calm down. Nobody's pretending to be me. I really am me. I tried to talk as calmly as I could, but I was almost feeling more nervous than him. Well, yeah, you're gonna get smacked, and then you could die. Semyon? He squinted. Is that really you? Yes, and now tell me what happened. How did you get here? All the way down here, taking many, many lefts. Shurik recovered his breath and started to talk. I needed some parts for the robot, and I heard that there's a bomb shelter in the old camp, and there could be some instruments there. So I got up in the morning and went. He stopped for a minute, trying to deal with the trembling of his hands. I found suitable parts, but then I read primal fear in his eyes. The voices. Oh, no, I don't like that. It would have been slightly okay knowing one person brought him down here. Like, an actual person. But then, it's just voices. The voices.
They told me to go here. I went down the mine. Then they were telling me to go to the right, then left, then right, then left, then right, then left.
What? I only got here going left. He started to laugh hysterically.
But now they won't get me. I'll stay sitting here. They won't find me here.
He once again started to wave his pipe in the air. Shurik? I need you to calm down, because I am not getting grazed or smacked by that. Because once I'm down, you're gonna go completely crazy down here. There's no one here. I wasted quite a lot of time walking in the mine like you, but didn't hear any voices, and I only went left. Just so you know. He fixed his eyes on me.
Then you're with them.
Oh, that's a nasty looking bar. Shirk rushed towards me. I was just barely able to dodge him. But the flashlight wasn't as lucky and took the full force of Shirk's blow. Well, great, now we're in darkness. Thanks a lot. We found ourselves in complete darkness. Now it was my turn to lose my mind. I'm scared of the dark. What have you done, you idiot? I lashed out with my hand in the direction where I expected Shirk to be, but to no avail. Now we'll both die here. I got nothing but silence in return, and then a quiet, hysterical laugh.
It's all right. That's fine. I know where the exit is. Follow me.
Well, why should I trust you? Follow you where? I can't see a damn thing.
Follow my voice.
Oh, great. No. No, thanks. I had no other choice. Actually, you do?
Here.
Shirk's voice was heard from somewhere further on. How do you know where to go?
I walked all over here.
In complete darkness. Why'd you follow the voices in darkness? Did you have a flashlight and you lost it? And why didn't you leave?
The voices. Quiet. They can hear us.
In theory, I could believe that there are some supernatural forces here. It's pretty freaking scary. In the Soviet camp, it'd just be a daily occurrence. But we're not in the main camp, and we're in spooky, scary town, so, you know. Any Russian mythical creature could pop out of nowhere, and you know what? It's too dark. I'm just gonna have to go swinging, and I could hit Shirk. And he's armed. I'm not gonna win. He has a pipe. I got nothing but my fists. My sifts is what I said. My fists and my soft flesh. Oh no. I already forgot what it's called. Wendigos. Wendigos could happen. Oh, Wendigos are gonna happen. And it's gonna be Shirk. He's gonna turn into a Wendigo, because he's the crazy one. But there was no reason to panic yet. Though my hands were shaking non-stop.
Here.
I slowly followed his voice and eventually lost track of time. We could have been roaming for a few minutes or a few hours. I don't know why I followed him when I could have just... At least I get myself lost, and not lost with crazy. Finally a dim light appeared in the distance. We're here.
We're here.
We reached the wall. The way towards freedom was blocked by a lattice on the ceiling. I pulled myself up and recognized the square from the bits of landscape I could see. Lift me up. Shirk obediently followed my request. Surprising. I started to hit the grating with my fist so hard that in just a few strikes my arms were all covered in blood. But in return, the grating gave way and pushed open. The hell? A minute later, we were out on the surface behind the monument of Genda. When I saw this grating before, I had no idea there could be catacombs below it.
They will come for you.
I fell to the ground exhausted. What? Who? Please, just stop being so vague.
They will come.
And Shirk, again, ran away. Great, I found him and then we lost him. I was so exhausted that I could not even be bothered thinking about some voices or recalling the forsaken camp, the bomb shelter, or the mine. Almost unconscious, I reached the camp leader's cabin. But I couldn't go to bed right away. We have to tell Olga that we found Shirk and he ran away. Hey, hold on, Olga, don't scold me yet. Well, look who's here. Olga Dmitrinov. I started tiredly, attempting to cut the explanation to a minimum. You said you were going for a walk, but instead... And I was going to go and call the police. And... Olga Dmitrovna, can you wait until tomorrow? I'm really tired, and Shirk is... I don't know what happened to him again. The camp leader eyed me all over. Okay, fine. Also, aren't we covered in blood? I was a bit surprised that she agreed so fast, but decided not to waste this opportunity and quickly turned the light off and darted under the covers. Wait, aren't we covered in blood? What about our arms? Our soft skin? We ran. Ran with the last of our strength. Like those who run for their precious lives. Like a doomed person knowing that there is no hope to save his life. Will still fight the inevitable in his own fate. I barely managed to close the heavy metal door behind me. I have no idea how deep this bomb shelter is, or if it's able to withstand a nuclear blast, but we have no other place to hide. She gripped my hand tight. Don't be afraid. Bits of the ceiling were falling and the walls were shaking. I was prepared for the worst. But death is the kind of thing that you can't ever be prepared for. But suddenly, complete silence fell. It rang even louder than the explosions. Maybe it's time to say goodbye. She was whimpering. I wanted to comfort her somehow, but realized that there's nothing I could do. Yes. You know, Jeez. I realized there was ellipses on top. I think that was actually the girl that was speaking. A horrible bang almost split my eardrums. It seems that I'm under a piece of collapsed ceiling, but I don't feel any pain. All I want is to not let her go. Ghosts. Ooh. I woke up in a cold sweat, short of breath and gasping for air. It took me some time to come to my senses. It was a dream. It was just a dream. My questioning mind, however, refused to believe it. But who was that girl with me there? I didn't want to let go of her hand so desperately. Sadly, I couldn't recall her at all. The clocks were showing a few minutes past 10. I slowly came to my senses as reality started to stake out its claim on my mind, and my stomach foully growled. Alright, war is war, but lunch should be served in due time. Turned out that Olga Dmitrovna wasn't here. She must have decided not to wake me up. Well, thanks. Go out to our camp leader for this. After yesterday's adventure, I had to have a rest. Ew, your arms, though. Last night remained a blurry memory which I really didn't want to think about. It's now more important to find something to eat and to wash myself. Exactly. Because a pioneer must always be clean and tidy. Though I would agree with this principle even if I wasn't a pioneer, and as a matter of fact, I'm not. On my way to the wash stands, I met Electronic. He started to wave his hands and ran up to me. Good morning. Thank you for finding Shirk. Without him, I don't even... It's nothing. I was a bit embarrassed. No, really, don't be shy. The country must be proud of its heroes. And what about Shirk? How did he look this morning? Is he alright? 'Cause he was pretty crazy. After yesterday's craziness, I thought such a question was completely valid.
Yes, absolutely.
Really? Because he was talking about voices. He was in the dark for a pretty long-ass time. And when you're in the dark without any light, you definitely feel like time isn't going by properly. And I think your real only way to stay sane is if you just forced yourself to sleep the entire time, meaning you wouldn't get anything done. And as somebody who gets paranoid pretty dang easily, you'd hear just things in the darkness, and anything you brush against, get you real flinchy.
The only thing is that he can't remember anything.
Ah, hysterical. Can he?
I remember everything.
I wasn't surprised at all.
He says that he went to the abandoned camp yesterday and then woke up in his bed in the morning. I mean, he remembers nothing between those two events.
I see. Alright then. I'll just keep the voices to myself, just because I don't want him going off the deep end.
You missed breakfast, right? Come to our club. We'll feed you. I have something special.
Electronic smiled in a conspiratorial way. Thanks. I'll come, probably. I had to wash myself first anyway.
We'll be waiting.
He waved at me and left to carry out his own business. There was nobody near the washstands. Good, because now I'm going to cry, just dunk my head in and just cry. The water turned out surprisingly warm today. It's been warmed up already, I guess. Having my face washed, I realized that it wouldn't be easy to wash the rest of my body here. Maybe I should go to the showers. Wait, there is showers? But since there's nobody here, I turned the tap in such a way so water streamed parallel to the ground. Started to take off my clothes. No, wait. What are you doing? What if somebody sees me? Well, I'll rinse and dry myself quickly and put on my clothes. The water, which seemed warm on my hands and face, felt bone-chillingly cold on my body because I am exposed to the elements. Anybody could walk by and see my booty. The whole washing process took no longer than 10 seconds, and I started to wipe myself quickly afterwards. But I didn't manage to finish anyway. There were voices coming in from the direction of the footpath. Oh no! No one can see my dong. I need to hide. Little leaf. The only solution came to me in a split second. I grabbed my clothes and dashed into the bushes. Man, you better hurry up, because you're going to be labeled as a flasher. Oh, great, and it's those two. You'll especially be labeled as a flasher. A moment later, Alisa and Ulyana appeared near the washstands. You could have done it by yourself. Why did you bring me here? Is it a big deal for you? Fine, let me. I peered at them and noticed that they were both covered in red paint. I don't know what you're talking about. Ulyana looks the same. What a surprise. I wonder how they managed that. Alisa opened the valve and started to rub Ulyana's back. Take off your bra. What if somebody sees us? What? Is there anything to see? She grinned. Okay, just be quick. It was true that there wasn't much to look at, but even so I stared at the girls narrowly. Dude, just put your clothes on. It was a pity that they were standing with their backs to me. Stop being a pervert and put your clothes on. A minute later, Alisa managed to wash off all the paint. How'd you get paint under your clothes? No, I'm just saying. I'm done. Thanks. You're welcome, Alisa replied lazily. Listen, let me try on yours. She pointed at Alisa's bra. It won't fit you, for sure. Well, I like to try anyway. But out here? There's nobody here, right? Ulyana looked my way and smiled archingly. Oh my god, Ulyana, she's freaking sharp. I was absolutely sure she couldn't see me in these bushes, but she's looking directly at you. Enough with this nonsense. Ulyana wasn't listening to her anymore and grabbed Alisa's bra with a dexterous move instead. Nah, I have to confess I had something to look at. You naughty boy. I watched the two girls chase one another around the washstands with bated breath. Oh my gosh, just this weirdo in the bushes. Alisa covered her breast with her hands so I could barely see anything at all. I leaned forward and stumbled over a stone falling out of the bushes. Oh no. Alisa and Ulyana stood frozen, staring at me. I tried to cover my nudity with my guilty face. Oh my god, you stood there the entire time naked. Of all the people, it's like you don't learn. What is that? I've never seen that word before. The tableau lasted for a few seconds, and Alisa took her shirt and somehow put it on in an instant. You. Her face had gone from red to purple. It looked like she would explode in a nuclear blast any second, and then you get like flashbacks from the dream, the nightmare. The only thing I wanted was to disintegrate into atoms and to get as far from the epicenter as possible. He was sitting there the whole time. But she noticed me then. You. And I accidentally, if you know what I mean. Nope. Ain't no excuse for you, man. Alisa rushed at me. Dead. Bad end. Covering my butt with one hand and holding my clothes with the other, I ran in the woods. It seemed the best solution to me at the time, as showing up naked in the middle of the camp accompanied by two screaming girls wasn't a good idea. Watch out, the squirrel's gonna get you now. I ran without looking back, and stopped a few minutes later to catch my breath. It seemed there was no pursuit, so I managed to save myself, but at the cost of lacerated, scratched, and bleeding feet, as I had no time to put on my boots. I sat on a tree stump and sighed. Sometime later, having dressed already, I left the forest. I needed to decide what to do next. My feet are hurting, so I should go straight to the infirmary. But on the other hand, my stomach isn't going to wait either. Maybe I should accept Electronic's invitation. And, I mean, they're in the robotics. They should have at least like a first aid kit next to them, because they're dealing with a bunch of equipment. Or head to the canteen in hopes of finding something left to eat there. Going to the dining hall is too likely to find Alisa. And I want to go to the infirmary because of our arms. Did you just completely forget our arms? Our arms? I share this body. I am in your head. The one voice that you completely ignore like all the time. Dear. Though I do want to go see Electronic, guys. If going to the infirmary isn't fruitful, like how I wanted to go to that one cabin and he didn't go, I think I'm gonna reload and go to the clubhouse if it ends up not becoming an option, because I do want to see how Shurk is doing, and maybe we'll learn a little something. But I want to go to the infirmary because going around with hurt feet is not fun. It's gonna cause a lot of bleeding. I know this from experience. I always took good care of my health, and even better care at the times when something starts to hurt badly. So without hesitation, I made my way to the infirmary. Though right in front of the door, I stopped as if some mysterious force was holding me. I had absolutely no desire to face a camp nurse without any urgent need, but on the other hand, I almost did a great deed yesterday defending the infirmary. So in some sense, she owed me. I took heart and opened the door. Hello, Pioneer. Hello. I'm sorry that I was so late yesterday. It wasn't a problem at all. Why have you come? Are you sick? She smiled slyly. Well, I got my feet a bit. You got a bit what? My feet. I gave a stupid answer. My feet. Okay, show me. I sat on the couch and took off my boots. How did you manage that? Nurse Viola, he was running around naked because he was staring at girls. 'Cause he's a gross boy. And he has kitties. I'd better keep silent about what happened near the washstands. Well, Okay, never mind. Wait a second. She rummaged in the drawer and took out a big red pill with a cross-shaped notch from the vial. And what is that for? I was disturbed by the size of the pill and its strange shape. They're broken in halves, usually, and not in quarters. This is to make the amputation of your legs unnecessary. When I was reading that, my brain instantly went, this is for amputation. What? Nods. If Semyon gets to have his black screen. I don't think I mentioned this before, because I didn't notice for a while. And then when I did notice, I don't think I said anything. I didn't realize that her eyes were two different colors, and I was like, ah, sick. Nothing. Don't be afraid, Pioneer. I have to keep drinking water. My throat is just not in optimal condition. Nothing. Don't be afraid, Pioneer. You'll take it, and then we'll be all right. And this pill? Why does it look like that? Oh no, does he have to take the pill in his butt? That's gonna be sad. That's for patients who refuse to take medicine orally. I want to read that as pre-orally, but I don't. We screw it into them with a screwdriver then. What? I didn't dare to ask where they were being screwed in, actually. I don't want to know either. But I kind of have a feeling of where it would go. And I'll try to bear it a bit. She took a big pack of cotton wool, wrapped a bud with it, and applied plenty of iodine to it. I braced myself for the torments of hell. He moaned quietly. But my trust in the method of disinfection was much higher than in the odd pill, so I had to withstand the burning. Now I'm done. I put my boots on and tried to walk. My feet were still hurting, but the sharp pain was gone. Thank you. Don't mention it. Drop in any time. Pioneer. Semyon runs immediately. I said goodbye and left the infirmary. My health problem was solved. It's the right time to eat now. The day has just started, and I've gone through so many things already. But I did it, and now I have legitimate grounds to fill myself up. Oh, poo. I kind of wish she just automatically went to electronic. Today I wasn't the last one, so I could choose a free table. Lunch included pea soup and mashed potatoes with fish. Pushes away the pea soup. That's too much peas. It was a major disappointment to me, as I didn't eat fish in any form, and hence will get fewer calories than usual. Soon Slavia and Lena came to my table.
Can we? She smiled nicely. Eh? Yeah, sure. I stood up and pulled out a chair for her. Oh, wow, such a gentleman. Please. I was in an excellent mood at this moment. Enjoy your meal. Saying that, Lena began staring at me and continued for some time, but then, after realizing how odd she looked, switched to her plate. Is it because he didn't pull out a chair for her? You too. Do you have any plans for today, Semyon? Nope. I gave her an honest answer, as indeed I had no plans. Except for searching for answers, but that was more like a global goal. Do you want to take a boat ride to the island with us? The island. Well, I think I've seen it from the pier. For what? Olga, the Metzner, asked us to gather some strawberries. There are a lot of strawberries there, and they're so delicious. I could imagine the taste without even eating it just by looking at Slavia's face. Strawberries. And what are those for? I don't know, but it's indeed a great idea. Well, indeed it is. Moreover, I haven't been to the island yet. Yeah, sure. Within minutes, we were already standing at the pier. Well, here is the boat. Hang on, I'll go and fetch the paddles now. I was left face to face with Lena. Do you like strawberries? Well, not really. Do you like anything? But they're tasty. Lena smiled. I see. I didn't know what to say next, how to continue the conversation. If Slavia didn't come back, we could probably sit here till the evening without saying a word. She just ditched us. Here you go. She handed me a pair of hefty paddles. Yeah, thanks. We only brought you along so you could row the boat for us. We got into the boat, I untied it, pushed off the shore, and tried to start paddling. With my weak arms. And where exactly are we heading to? Right there. She pointed her finger at the island. That island is named the closest one. I wonder what captain gave it such an original name. Well, the island is indeed close to the shore. Aye, aye, Captain. If only I'd known what was waiting for me ahead, I would have said no. I wasn't an experienced oarsman. I'd rowed a boat just once or twice in my entire life. It was less than half a mile to the island, but we were making our way in zigzags, trying, thanks to my skills. By approximately the middle of the trip, my arms hurt so badly that I dropped the paddles to get some rest. Well, are there any strawberries anywhere else? I mean, in a more accessible place. But the tastiest ones grow there. Slavia gave me a puzzled look. Is it hard for you to row alone? Well, yeah. Gee, look at his arms. They're not made for rowing. Lena, unlike Slavia, understood everything straight away. Oh, it's nothing. Anyway, I couldn't let a fragile girl help me. Oh, wow. The rest of the way I spent concentrating on staying alive while getting to the island. Slavia and Lena discussed something. Lenya. And discussed something, but I wasn't listening. That was too much for me. At last we arrived. You know, listening to anyone is too much for you, Semyon. Every time you say these things, I can't help but rag on him. Completely exhausted, I got out on the shore and looked at the boathouse. It seemed so far away that I felt like a first person on the moon watching the Earth rise. Here we go. Slavia handed me a basket. It was a small island barely 100 meters long, and it looked more like a birch grove with even rows of trees covering its entire surface. A calm green sea spread beneath our feet, with wind causing lonely waves on its surface from time to time. This island looked like a lost paradise. It's no wonder that the most delicious strawberries grow just here. We've got to split up. That way we'll do the job faster. Yeah, sure. But there are only 2 baskets, said Lena humbly. Oh, right. My bad. So how are we going to split up then? Go with Slavia. I didn't want to walk here alone, and I hoped that Slavia would join me, but I couldn't bring myself to ask. Well, it's obvious. One basket for me, one for you two. No, let me go with you. Slavia smiled. Okay. I was a bit surprised, but I was also glad that it turned out like this. Lena seemed to take no offense at all. The reaping has commenced. The strawberries were delicious here indeed. I could probably eat them all if I didn't stop myself in time. What? Your one excuse to not eat an apple was because it wasn't washed. But these strawberries, I can just picture him picking them, eating, and then just nothing in the basket. Despite being wild-grown, the berries were close to the garden ones in size and held a rich red color, so it was clear that our visit here wasn't in vain. Slavia was walking right beside me as we had only one basket. I felt like a mushroom picker looking under every shrub and searching through the grass carefully. Pay attention. An entire bunch of strawberries had been left behind. Yeah. I'm sorry. Jeez. It's fine. You must enjoy being here, don't you? You like nature, after all. Of course I do. She smiled. It reminds me of my home. We have several beautiful birches there. She gazed dreamily somewhere into the distance. Look, I've always wanted to ask, what do you like in general? You look busy 24/7 and it seems like you have no time to rest at all. She started to think. I don't really know. Doing a variety of activities is enjoyable for me. Well, that's understandable, but still. I like knitting and sewing. Things like that. Slavia took a handkerchief out of her pocket. There were red, yellow, and green flowers embroidered on it. They were entangled with each other in a complicated way, creating sophisticated geometric forms. Such a typical Russian handmade handkerchief. Glimpsing it, I instantly imagined Slavia dressed in an ancient sarafan, sitting on a bench beside a ramshackle house with a crowd of playing children running around. It's quite cute. Thanks. Let me give it to you as a gift. Such a proposal embarrassed me. You shouldn't. No, take it. I looked at the handkerchief once again and put it into my pocket. Thank you. There were so many strawberries here that after a mere half an hour, we had the basket filled up to the brim. Seems we're done. Yes. We've got the lot, so it should surely be enough. When we got back to the boat, Lena wasn't there yet. She'd need more time to fill the basket by herself. Yeah, I guess so. I looked at the river. Sun sparkles happily dancing across the water's surface were the only thing that distinguished it from a mirror. That's how calm the river seemed. What are you thinking about? The mines. Nothing really. And you? Me? What will happen once vacation is over? We'll have to leave this camp and go back to our homes. Will I ever see anyone I meet here again? Well, will I ever see you again? She looked at me with her eyes so full of sorrow that I couldn't think of what to say. Lena came out of nowhere, breaking the silence. Oh, you're done already. Here. She showed us a basket full of strawberries. Kind of jealous. I really want some strawberries now. Great. Now we can go back. And I still had Slavia's face and those words of hers on my mind. Sadness and sorrow weren't the kind of emotions typical of her. Could she be hiding them all the time under a mask of cheerfulness? I had no answer to this question. I knew I couldn't find one either way. Maybe later. The way back took less time as I tried to concentrate on rowing and ignoring everything else. My only wish was to get back alive, as the first trip hadn't gone without consequences, and now my hands started to hurt after only a few sweeps of the oars. Having tied up the boat, I fell to the ground with no energy left. Slavia and Lena leaned over me. You could have said something if it was so hard for you. Yes. Never mind, it's fine. I want to be a big, strong man. I'll just lie here for a bit, and everything will be alright. I also have to even out my arms, if you know what I mean. Okay. Then those baskets to Olga Dmitrievna, please. We have something else to do. Yeah, sure. I was ready to agree with anything at the moment, just so I wouldn't have to get up. And then I eat all the strawberries. The little gremlin. Slavia put the baskets full of strawberries next to me and headed to the square, happily chatting with Lena about something. The hardest part is done anyway. That's what I thought before I got up and took the baskets. After the rowing, they felt like cement bags, even while weighing barely more than a few kilograms each. So the trip to the camp leader's cabin took much longer than usual. I had to stop every 50 meters to have a rest. Once I finally made it, I put the baskets on the ground and sat on the deck chair with difficulty. Olga Dmitrievna, I've got presents for you. There was no answer. I barely managed to get up and enter the cabin. There was nobody there. If you don't need them, it's up to you. They're mine now. I lay down on the deck chair and fell asleep. Are we gonna make like strawberry? Oh god. Strawberry pie? I had a weird dream about a strawberry race. I was rowing a boat with my last ounces of strength trying to escape huge berries that were chasing me. My hands were failing me and I could barely see anything because of the sweat covering my face. Blood was hammering in my temples, but the strawberries were getting closer. They were baring their teeth at me. You ate our comrades. Ah. But wait, strawberries with teeth? Semyon! Semyon! I woke up. Olga Dmitrievna was standing beside me, shaking my shoulder. I see you got a rich harvest, didn't you? Yep, I tried my best, thanks to the girls' help. And then I take all the credit. Okay, but that's not all. Seriously, I was just anticipating the lovely rest I was about to have. Do you even know what these strawberries are for? Not a clue. But an honest confession. We'll make a cake out of them. Ooh. Let's see. Well, that makes sense. It's a lot of strawberries, though, when you think about it. To honor the miraculous rescue of Shurik. And it's all thanks to you. It was clear that getting the strawberries wasn't the last thing left to do. And why, please tell me, if I'm such a hero, why do I have to organize a celebration in my name all by myself? Well, I guess. So, I have an important task for you. We are missing yeast, flour, and sugar. Yay! I might as well just make my own celebration. I need is all in the canteen before dinner. I need it. And those who will make the cake can't deal with it on their own somehow? I asked pitifully. Shouldn't it be in the canteen? Of course they can't. All of them are busy. And you are the only one in the whole camp who does nothing. What? I'm actually offended. The one time we do something was yesterday. Like, can we not have downtime? Because, you know, that was mentally trying. It was a terrible event. Shurik could have murdered us. And you're... Whatever. Fine. I'll find your stupid yeast and flour or whatever, even though it should be in the canteen, because where the hell else would it be? You're the only one in the whole camp who does nothing. While her words were partly true, that doesn't make it any easier for me. Moreover, those words felt like a bullet to my head. So write it down. You'll get yeast in the infirmary, flour in the library, and sugar in the clubhouse. What the f— Why? Wait, are you just putting me in a scavenger hunt? I have no time, I'm in a hurry. I hate this, I'm not gonna do it. Good luck. I don't care how much I want cake. Might as well just do it myself. She smiled slyly and left. Of course, there's a lot of strange things in this camp, but... Yeast in the infirmary? Okay, I'll deal with that, but... Flour in the library? And sugar? No, it's way beyond my comprehension. I spat on the floor. Just out of sheer anger, I spit on the floor. I don't want to. And I will not believe this. Just tell me you're pulling my leg. I would not be surprised if a crowd of fat green trolls would appear right here, right now beside me, with every one of them feeling obligated to laugh at me. So maybe to hell with this cake? I weighed my options for some time. Please give me the option to say no. I may like cake, but I don't give a rat's ass about this. No, if such a major plan of Olga Dimitrievna fell through, I'd be in for a world of hurt. And it would complicate both my life in the camp and my search for answers, which I've stopped for quite a while. Seems I have no choice. It feels like I've gone through more things today than all the previous days combined. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I'd even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. I had a feeling it was gonna have boobs. But it also has cat ears. Oh my god, is the cat girl actually a robo? Shirk and Electronic were enthusiastically building something. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of robot. Or at least the body of one. Moreover, this robot was female and had animal ears. Somebody here is a furry. I didn't want to make up theories about purpose of such a device for luminaries of camp cybernetics. Oh no, they're making themselves a girlfriend. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself. And there was something we shared, even though I don't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. Electronic has like a baby face here. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. Oh, it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries of the sciences. Hey guys. I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Semyon, come in. We're always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind. It's okay, we don't have to think upon that. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person, something he can use in the right moment. Sugar. I need sugar. Wink. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some kind of unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5-pixel stature. Gold! We need more gold! We got it, said Electronic calmly. Why would you want it? I felt that I shouldn't explain to Shurik that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga Dimitrina told me to get some. Okay, hang on. The electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen? When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort. That's reasonable, isn't it? No, that's irritating, actually. I don't know why you didn't just bring it to the canteen. The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. Well, where would we put it? You might as well bring it to the canteen. Electronic gave me a surprised look. You don't even have a place to hold all the sugar anyways. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. Seems that the previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then? It's not that far to carry. We're busy. Come on, Semyon, you're a big strong man. You could do it by yourself. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Shurik. He owed me, after all, for nearly murdering me. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. Aw, don't do that to him. I sighed, took the bag, and headed to the door. Thanks anyway. I said at parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down to have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. You know what? I'd probably accidentally break the bag. On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternatively in my hands, or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossible to me to cover. And as I resigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Maybe I could help you? No! I got this far, I don't need your help. I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can... It's one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart. Why didn't I think of that myself? Yes, that'd be great. Wait here, I'll be right back. She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. Started to think. She seemed quite unusual now, with no trace of shyness on her face, and actually the complete opposite smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena... A few minutes later she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. She blushed and looked down. Oh, and Lena we all know is back. So I'll go then. Yeah, see you. And thanks again. I shouted after her. So sometimes I feel like there are two different people living inside of Lena. But the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I making things up again? I thought that would be better if I get all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga Dimitrina's cabin with a handcart. Why? When you could head straight for the library. If every other place on the cake ingredient list made at least some sense to me, then flour from the library made none. I thought hard about sugar at the club didn't make any sense either, aside from their excuse about how they're too lazy to walk all the way to the canteen. I thought hard about who could put in the library and why, but couldn't find any sane explanation after all. Given Xenia's harsh nature, I'd better knock first. Why? Open. It's the library. Why would you have to knock? Xenia peered at me closely from behind her glasses. What do you want? Don't think anything weird, but I didn't want to look like an idiot and decide to explain things carefully. I need some flour. Olga Dimitrievna said that it's here. I understand that sounds strange to keep the flour in the library, but I was sent to you, and it's needed for a cake to celebrate Shurik's rescue. Yes, I have the flour. What's so strange about it? Xenia replied with a surprise. At that second, I felt like I had been hit on the head with a heavy weight and lost the ability to understand anything at all. Flour in the library. Sure, what's so strange about that? We're in Wonderland. I'm Alice. Now I'm going to eat the magic mushroom and I'll be back home. Hey. Yeah? I was daydreaming. Wait here. I'll be right back. She disappeared behind the bookshelf while I folded my hands and started waiting. Oh, jeez. A moment later, the sound of a trapdoor groaning on its hinges reached me. Hey, you need some help? I inquired loudly. I'll deal with it. Xenia barked out to me. She seems to be in the basement, so I'll have to wait a little. Okie dokie. A few minutes passed, but Xenia still hadn't returned. I was starting to get worried when the door was suddenly flung open and Alisa came into the library. No! She looked surprised too, seeing me here. What are you doing here? Am I not allowed to be here? I said rudely to her. Alisa was clearly a bit overwhelmed. What do I care? She snorted and headed to Xenia's table. And why are you here then? Alisa measured me with her eyes carefully and almost opened her mouth to say something, but then seemed to change her mind and turned away, hiding her hands behind her back. Returning a book? I blurred the first thing off the top of my head. I came out of the basement and I need a return book. This is where I live. It's none of your business, she replied with a hint of hesitation. What book is it? Alisa was silent. Oh, come on. Let me see it. I wonder what Miss Hughes' Voltage Keep Away reads. It's none of your business. Her voice was even less confident. Okay, I don't insist or anything. In fact, I was quite interested to find out what Alisa was reading. Moreover, I was quite amused to see a book in her hands. TV, movies, or a computer, if one were available here, all things seemed to be much more appropriate entertainment for a girl like her. But she had a book instead. Snatched the book out her hand, stay on guard. Curiosity killed a cat. Anyway, it's Alisa, and that means it could quickly turn into a total mess, plus I still have ingredients to collect. Well, I'll come later. Alisa left the library quickly without looking at me. It got me thinking, what could this book be about if she was so ashamed of it? A romance novel. And ashamed Alisa is something extraordinary by itself. But Alisa is ashamed about a book. But what's the point in guessing now? There's no way to find anything out. Finally, Xenia's deep groan rang out, reaching each and every corner of the library. Grab it! I passed by the bookshelves and beheld the perspiring librarian sitting near the trapdoor, leading into the basement with a small sack next to her. Well, they might have some sort of storehouse down there. Whoops. Thanks. I took the sack and left the library. Thank goodness it wasn't too heavy, so I carried it down to Olga Dimitrievna's cabin without too much effort. What? Where even is her cabin? Like, which one is it? I feel like I visited the infirmary too often recently. But what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of a sing-song accent. Good afternoon. Olga Dimitrina has sent me to get some, I hesitated slightly, yeast. Ah, sure. She gave me a broad smile. It's just that I don't have any. Pioneer. How so? She said that. Well, I had some, but now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be of some use to me, actually. Where do I get it, then? I sighed. Take this. She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. I took a closer look. Ostankinch was a well-known brand of cheap beer in the USSR. Oh my god. Has she been making beer? She used all the yeast and made some beer. It was beer. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Nobody will even know this. She had a point, but something just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. But everything looked so grotesque. Wait, why? Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay, then. Bottle clearly wouldn't fit into the pocket of my shorts. Well, then, those are just bad shorts. Well, thanks. I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. I don't know. I feel like that sounds gross. But I'm not a cook, so I don't bake enough to know what you can replace things with. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast, I guess. Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. But generally, walking around with this bottle in my hands looked like a silly idea to me, so I decided to bring it to Olga Dimitrina's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt. I hid the bottle down my pants. Now no one will ever know. And everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out to me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. How's it going? What exactly? Your search for the ingredients. So you know already. Yes, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going all right, I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. And what do you have there? She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. Nothing. This... She got me. It's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square with the puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she's one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in this camp who like nothing better than to poke their noses into other people's business. When you said that, I immediately thought of Ulyana. Passing the pioneers' cabins, I saw... Of course. I stumbled upon Ulyana. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher officer bearing a message to headquarters. That's certainly a big message. I was carrying the bottle at waist height, so I was slightly embarrassed. You want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. You're gonna steal it from me, and I ain't having that. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything, nor try to pursue me. There was nobody in Olga Dimitrina's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would ever worry that much about a single bottle of beer. Like I was back in high school. It's a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I'll I'll claim that it's not mine. I could always think of a suitable excuse for my enormous experience. Just say it's Olga's. Finally, it seems that everything had been collected. I took the handcart with sugar outside, and put the sack of the flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberries that somehow fit in between. And the beer was hidden under my shirt just in case. The day was coming to its end, so I had to hurry, as cake itself will need some time to bake. Of course, I'd rather enjoy lying down, closing my eyes, and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga Dmitrievna down. Indeed, after all the trouble I'd gone to, I even felt personally responsible for the success of this event. I better get a big slice of cake for this. Coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the cart was heavy. It ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now. Both a physical and mental one. I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was, probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interested and unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for a cake. Do you like cakes? I don't know. What, you've never tried cake? I don't know. Obviously, the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at that moment. I really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. I see. Come down the canteen later and have a bite. Really? Really. And what are they made of? What? I asked indifferently. These cakes. Well, some flour, some sugar, various fillings. Now that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yeah, sort of. And sugar? And sugar. Could you lend me a little? What for? Thought it was over the top. A sudden gust of wind made me grab the cart instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was there. Am I daydreaming? Ooh, you're speaking to a ghost! You're being haunted after you went to the spooky scary camp. I noticed, though, that the sugar sack was untied and a small heap of it had been poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder, dinner was still an hour away. I brought the handcart to the rear exit and handed the foodstuffs to the camp cook. She must have already been told what to do with them, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. Climb into that person's car and just go to sleep. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Screams. Hi. Miku was standing before me. Yeah. I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Really? I'm trying to take a nap. Oh, excuse me. I must have interrupted you. No problem. I was just sitting here. Ah, alright then. Miku beamed with a smile. I was just coming to dinner. I thought that it's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early, but I decided to check just in case. Maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is. Okay, I can understand why he doesn't like her. It took me until this point. Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken, it's just that I misread it. Well, they can be, if you don't adjust the time right. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. I fell asleep. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great. Then I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Just leave me alone to take a nap. Frankly speaking, I do mind. You know, I have some matters to attend to. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Miku as I always did while she screamed something after me. I mean, Semyon is kind of just a little rude. But, I mean, he could just say, I was trying to nap, I'm really tired. Just, shh. A minute later, I got to the square and sat on the bench with the firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. Why don't you should just find the one area that you were in before. That was really nice. And you won't be disturbed. This area I'm pretty sure has way too many people, like, crossing through. I think this is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant detail, but indeed I was really angry. I've completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by our camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even ends up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or a plot of the universal mind, they better consult with their psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. And the most annoying thing is that everything that happens seems to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happier not having to carry around bags of sugar that weigh a ton, but I had no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. Who are you angry with? Everything. Ulyana was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody really. I answered absently, but my fist gave me away. Just like that. Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me. Why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to. I've replied reluctantly. I guess it was food. Maybe it was. Ulyana was about to say something when at that moment the bell rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. I sighed in relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Ulyana behind. Semyon, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Yeah, sure. It was at that exact moment that I understood the true meaning of the saying, keep your thanks to feed your cat. I've never heard that saying, but okay. You didn't tell anybody? This ought to be a surprise. How can I not tell anyone when I'm freaking walking around with bags of stupid stuff that should have been in the canteen to begin with? Yeah, that's my boy. And now off you go to dinner, wherever. Just stop talking to me, Olga, right now, please. Olga waved her hand, pointing at the canteen. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. Turned out there was plenty today, so I got the chance to eat all alone. There was fish with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again, I'll be left half hungry. And didn't we have fish for lunch? Is it a fish-only day today? Well, you might as well just eat it. Having pushed my plate with the fried sea dweller away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon somebody came up to the table. Oh my god. Hey, are you alright? I'm fine, I replied without changing my position. Just tired? Yeah, a little. I mean, how could he not be? Not even including what happened the other night, he rowed a boat by himself, which, I mean, that's his fault. He should have asked for help. From the island and back, and then he had to go around grabbing stuff. Yeah, a little. Especially after pretty much being told that the cake is supposed to be for Shirk and him, basically. And then no one left him alone to take a nap. That's bad, Slavia said seriously. Of course. You remember that we're going for the hike after dinner, don't you? Have you prepared everything? What hike? Who planned this? Gonna kick someone. What? Where? I opened my eyes and lifted my head instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia. The hike. She was surprised. Didn't you know? No. Just passes out. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. If only I could sink into the ground right away. The girls remained silent. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of dinner time, but the strong voice of Olga Dmitrievna was heard from the opposite end of the canteen. Guys, to celebrate the miraculous rescue of our friend and comrade Shurik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly and looked towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneers' backs. Just a second, and nothing about me. Oh my, really? Nothing about me rescuing Shurik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader. Let's go. Or we won't get our share. It's so messed up. Let's go. Lena agreed. Yeah, sure. I can physically feel the stupid, you know how in The Sims when they don't like each other and the little image above appears where it has the people and a minus sign? That's how I'm physically feeling about Olga, except all the minus signs go across the board. I got up reluctantly and tagged along behind the girls. This universe sucks. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga Dmitrievna was putting the cake in the center of the table. And now? The camp leader wasn't... The amount of people with that size cake, I feel like that's not enough. The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Ulyana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. She managed to nibble a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from the outside at all the drama. Alisa smiling, Lena picking up some cream with her finger, all the furious pioneers around. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. Just leave and go to sleep, man. I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again, here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of my computer. Oh my god, just go back to the cabin. I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and the confusion became sharper. Everybody's already stuck their freaking fingers in the cake. It doesn't even matter anymore. Ulyana, that's the limit. Well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top even for her. Shirk broke into the conversation, or is it a court-martial? Please, Olga Dmitrievna, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Ulyana. And you. Today I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent, so you'll behave next time. Now, whatever. She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on the hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than willing to switch places with Ulyana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I had to have guessed beforehand, I'd have been the first one to go berserk and smash the damn cake. After a couple minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too. There will be a lineup at the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally, but it seemed that I failed. Don't be late. Ulyana was sitting at the table when I approached her on my way to the exit. So why did you do it? She looked very upset, but she had a right to be so. I wanted to, Ulyana replied abruptly. So you're happy now? Of course I am. And you, good luck with the hiking. We went through all of that and we didn't even get any cake. What was even the point? She smiled mischievously, sprang up, and rushed out of the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Walk and you shall reach. It was exactly this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or to just skip out without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness, although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. Man, I don't know how long this is gonna go. Every time I think, like, it's coming to the end, it not really. I don't know how to feel. After the whole Shurik thing, I feel like through this run, that was the only exciting thing that happened. Up until this point. I don't know if anything else exciting is gonna happen, especially since I'm pretty sure we're gonna end with nobody for us. We're gonna end up lonely. It's sad. And we went through all that stuff to do with Shurik, and we didn't get do nothing. And then after the cake ingredients thing, I feel like that doesn't even need to be there, because nothing really happened. I mean, we got like a little bit of info, and the only little bit of info was just knowing what the heck Electronic and Shurik were building, and that was it. And with Olga, I actually felt genuinely angry about her. So, you know what? Now I understand why Shurik. Now I understand why Semyon reacts so impolitely to her, minus the fact that he's actually a 45-year-old man. I don't. I do have to say that I did enjoy the part with Shurik. Especially because it was just like, what is going on? We only went left, and he was talking about going left and right, and I don't, like, a part of me kind of wants to go back and see what happens if I do choose only the right, but I'll probably do that after we finish this entire run through. And because it might just be like a little part and nothing actually happens. Man, for all I know, we're not gonna find Shurik if I only go right. That's gonna be terrible. Cause, like, what is up with the voices thing? I don't like that. I think I'd actually be, I don't know what else Soviet Games has done. I just know that there's one other visual novel that they're making. I think it would be pretty interesting if they did horror. I'd be pretty into that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you have a good day and a good night. And I'll see you in the next one, where we go on a hike. Man, Semyon must be really tired. Bye.